Welcome to this week's Top 5 of the Week. We have been receiving positive responses to these broadcasts, so take advantage of it to share with us publications you would like us to highlight. This week, I have publications from UN Women, the African Peer Review Mechanism, GIZ, the World Bank, and the West African Monetary Institute. First off, and from the African Peer Review Mechanism, is a report on a study on the opportunities in the AfCFTA for women in the informal cross-border trade sector. It reveals that over the years, a lot of African women are in vulnerable self-employment, particularly the informal cross-border trade, and some of their challenges are, number one, lack of access to information on trade customs and border regulations, two, strict immigration processes such as visa requirements, 3. Limited data on informal cross-border trade to enable policymakers create favorable policies for them, and 4. Insecurity along borders. Some of the opportunities in the AfCFTA that can be used to enhance the trading and financial capacities for women informal cross-border traders include free movement of people and goods, a unitary tax regime that will ease the movement of goods and reduce the cost of trade as it pertains to customs and import duties. And finally, a continent-wide opportunity to engage informal cross-border in a manner that promotes the empowerment of women traders in informal cross-border trade. My second recommendation is a report that looks at climate change's effects on labor in sub-Saharan Africa. It highlights its impact on productivity, employment, and migration, and reveals how climate action through policies can influence productivity despite ongoing climate change and its negative effects on labor productivity and employment. The effects of climate change on global labor productivity, employment, and mobility are directly felt through extreme weather events like heat stress and increased vector-borne diseases like malaria, and indirectly through its effect on agricultural yields, destruction of infrastructure, and disruption of ecosystem functions. The report also discusses how adaptation and mitigation policies could contribute to the labor market and how GIZ projects in the region could directly or indirectly contribute to the same. Recommendation number 3 is a book I'm highlighting because it's World Water Day today. Published by the World Bank and titled The Future of Water in African Cities, Why Waste Water, it aims to influence urban policymakers' decisions regarding water management, planning, and project design in Africa. The current water management systems, coupled with the rapid growth of African cities, are causing an increased demand for water that is difficult to meet. For African cities to have sustainable water resources, different sectors, institutions, and policymakers need to work together to implement innovative solutions that transcend institutional, sectoral, and geographic boundaries. Cities and their relevant authorities and institutions are broadening their water management plans to include flood and drought preparedness, rainwater harvesting, solid waste management, and water resource management. Integrated urban water management will help African cities to increase resilience through policymakers engaging different sectors to find solutions to water challenges on the continent. At number 4 is the West African Monetary Zone Trade Integration Report for 2020 that reveals the peculiarities of trade within the West African Monetary Zone under the COVID era. The West African Monetary Zone comprises of the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Liberia, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. The report notes that the COVID-19 pandemic affected members of the zone and resulted in mild and short-lived recessions. However, it equally brought about unintended benefits and sparked digital onboarding such as large adaptation of digitized payment and agency banking. Trade within the West African Monetary Zone remained low due to narrow export base and trade infrastructure deficiency, especially connectivity across transport modes and supply chain interruptions. It recommends economic recovery through public-private partnerships to cover for the deficit in various member countries. My final recommendation for this week looks at the impact of COVID-19 on gender equality and women's empowerment in East and Southern Africa through an assessment of gender policies and programs in East and Southern Africa, exposing weaknesses and loopholes for improvement. It highlights potential challenges that may affect women's empowerment and equality as African countries recover from COVID-19. Have a good week, everybody, and stay safe. Goodbye.